I just bombed the first interview I had in almost a year. Here's what I did wrong. Hi, hello, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kevin, and I've applied over 2,300 jobs. And if you're watching this video or listening to the podcast, you're on the job hunt too, or you know someone who is, or maybe you're just interested in the job market. But at any rate, you should know how hard it is out there right now. Job seekers are having to deal with a lot of things like fighting applicant tracking software that has a horrible algorithm that kicks out anybody, even if they're the perfect candidate for the job. A lot of companies won't hire somebody without a referral from inside. A lot of companies are posting jobs with inflated requirements and lower salaries than what it should be paying. And so many companies are posting fake jobs, ghost jobs, evergreen jobs, unicorn jobs, positions for which they have no intent of hiring, but we still apply to them. And with this horrible job market, it's not uncommon for us to spend 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years on a job hunt and to not have anything. I myself have been on the job hunt for over 27 months now, and I'm tracking everything that I do, which is why I know that currently, from my data that I have recorded firsthand, my primary research data, I know that right now, with every job application that I submit, there is a 0.3% chance that that's going to turn into an interview. So with the tremendous amount of unlikelihood that we have that we're going to even get an interview, what I found out the hard way is that my skills got rusty. I just had an interview for a research analyst position, which is very much in line with what I do. It's actually kind of on the lower end of what I do. And I thought it would be easy day. I thought I'd be able to just knock out this research project and submit it, and I was going to get the job. And if I'm honest, it paid significantly less than my last few positions, but it's a job and I want some sort of secure income. So I decided I'd go for it. And if I'm honest, I got really up in my head about it because I hadn't had an interview in about 10 months. So I go into this process, and the first interview was fine. I didn't expect anything to come of it. So I just kind of took it in a really relaxed way. And I think that paid off because that got me a second interview. And then the second interview I did the same way. And then that got me a third interview, which led to me doing a project. And in my line of work, you have to do a project during the job application process because they want to see how you work and they want to know that you can do what you say that you can do. So they gave me this generic project, and I went in and I did the project, and I had a week to do it. And for whatever reason, there was like 3 days of that week that I couldn't even look at it because I was so busy with family stuff and other things that I had going on. But it seemed like an easy project. So when I dove into it, I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be simple. I sat down to start doing the work, but I couldn't do it. And I would stare at the computer and I would distract myself with my phone, and I was anxious about it. And I had all this nervousness and anxiety. And I was thinking, man, I haven't done this work in 2 years. Do I still know what I'm doing? Am I still good at what I've been training to do my whole life? So I kind of put it off, and it wasn't intentionally. I would sit down and I would try to do the work, and my brain would physically hurt at the idea of having to do this. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's an anxiety thing, but I ended up starting the project literally the night before I was supposed to present it. And a lot of it was really easy to do. But without getting into the details of it, I'm going to give an example of kind of what I did wrong. So let's talk about baseball. If somebody says, hey, we want you to tell us how many games the Yankees won and how many they lost, that's a pretty simple question. And the first thing that you should look at is how many games have they won and how many games have they lost, and then start there. What I ended up doing is I went way too deep. I kind of went in and evaluated the likelihood of each player to get a run or steal a base or have an error, or if this player was on the field, they were X amount % more likely to win or whatever. I answered all the questions, all of the very granular stuff that didn't really matter, but I never addressed the questions of how many wins and losses they had. That caused me to bomb the interview. I would not have hired me either. If I was interviewing somebody and they performed like I did, I'd be like, wow, you missed the biggest, most obvious thing that there was for this project. So what's the takeaway from this? What did I learn from this that I wish that I would have realized before? Yeah, I know how to do this stuff. I'm good at what I do, but I haven't done it in so long that not practicing it led me to forget things that I should have remembered. So the key takeaway from this is that I need to be practicing what I do, even if it's not for a project or not for a client or a contract job or anything. I need to keep my skill set sharp. And I think that that's what you need to do also. If you are in a position where the work that you do is something that involves a process that you don't normally do in your day-to-day life, if you have the ability to practice it while you're at home, or if you have the access to tools, if it's woodworking or welding, something with your hands, if you have those tools, go practice that, go make something. If it's research like me, an analysis, figure out something that I'm curious about and go dive into that and make sure that I'm following every step that I need to follow in order to do the best job that I can. That way, everything is just front of mind the whole time that I'm doing it. So whenever I do get a project to do for an interview, it's going to be like I never missed a beat. It's going to be like I never stopped working, even though it's been over 2 years since I've done this kind of work. As long as I keep at it, then I'm going to be on top of it. And I would suggest that you do the same thing too with whatever your field is. In addition to that, if there's anything new that I can learn, Google Analytics 4 is something that I'm trying to get into to learn. The certification for that, I think, is free. It would keep me engaged to learn something new that is applicable to what I'm doing. So if there's any new certifications that you can get, and I'm not saying go out and get another degree, I'm not saying to go out and spend money on getting a certification. That's going to be ultimately up to you. If you think it's really going to help you with the job that you do and the industry that you're in, then maybe do that. But it can be just as simple as just practicing what you do. Practice a sales pitch. If you're a salesperson and you can't find a sales job, hey, I have this pen and let me tell you about the benefits of it. Are you having these pain points? This pen will fix those. Whatever it is that you're going to do, just practice it so that you are not necessarily the best at doing it, but you're your best at doing it before you go into this interview. And that's a mistake that I made. So please like and subscribe and do all the things, push the buttons, and please share with somebody. That's what we love about you. You help the podcast grow. But just like that, we're moving forward to the next episode, and I'll see you there.